Roughly 180 years ago, a British explorer came to Ethiopia. And in Ethiopia, he came into an old library. And in this old library, he found a book with the title, The Book of Enoch. Slowly, he translated the Book of Enoch from the Ethiopian language into English, later from English into German. And now as a boy, I had the German translation before my eyes. And I was completely shocked, because Enoch speaks in the first person, an eyewitness, not in the third person. He says he was 12 years old. The whole community of the village wanted to go to sleep. Then they hear the noise in the sky. They saw a light in the sky. Of a sudden, the light fell down to the earth, and all the inhabitants of the village ran away. They were afraid, except Enoch. He says, I stood there in astonishment. Then of a sudden, two beings came close to me in glittering clothes. And he says clearly, these two beings did not look like humans. They did not breathe like humans. They breathe differently. I never saw beings like this on earth. He's afraid. Enoch finally, he falls on his ground too. Then somebody picks him up and says to him, son of humans, don't be afraid. We won't hurt you. And then follows the whole story, an incredible story in the book of Enoch. So I was completely fascinated of Enoch. And later, of course, I learned that we find similar stories in the Maya text. The same thing happened in the old Indian text. Always one person is taken out. Also, they learn the language of the strangers. Enoch receives a writing device. Then they dictate them books about science, astronomy, calendar, engineering, and all this. Now the critics come and say, come on, this is ridiculous. How should extraterrestrials speak Enoch's language? In our time, our ethnologists, they were visiting some tribe on the upper Amazon River or maybe on the upper Nile River. It was never a problem of learning the language of the natives within a short period. After 5-6 months, our ethnologists understood the languages of the tribe. These extraterrestrials, they behaved themselves like ethnologists would do. They studied their group before visiting them. So I'm not shocked at all if the stranger speaks to Enoch in Enoch's language. And the stranger says to Enoch, don't be afraid. And he says, if you wish, you can come with us. We teach you. Enoch says, yes, I wish to be taught. He receives an overall, something like the same spacesuit which they had on. Then they go up. He describes over the earth. I saw the round earth, and I saw gigantic things. He compares them with brilliance, with diamonds and so on. Doors open, doors close. They go in there. He passes through strange gardens with vegetables and flowers which he had never seen on earth. Then he comes into a big room, and there in the center of the room there was a throne. And on this throne, the highest was sitting. When the three came in there, two of the extraterrestrials and Enoch, the highest stands up, walks a few steps toward Enoch, shakes his hand and says to him, welcome here at our place. Now what I just told you is part of the book of Enoch, but not the way I told it to you. Because some 160 years ago, when Enoch was translated first from the Ethiopian language into English, all these brilliant professors at that time, they knew nothing about space travel, nothing about spaceships, nothing about flying. So they believed we have to see all these things in a religious context. So the translation is different to what I say.